Hi, my name's Theo Ruby and I'm a marketing consultant specializing in website design, SEO and small business marketing. About 2 years ago, I set up the Enterprise Network to offer free training and events for small businesses in London. And now, because of the current climate, we're offering weekly power hours. Every Friday, we're going to target a particular challenge. And each week we'll have a small panel of experts who give insight and updates on how you can actually overcome these challenges. If you'd like to get involved, please register or email me at theo@theoruby.com, either as an attendee or if you'd like to join the panel. Thank you for watching. First, welcome to the group. So yeah, today we were looking to do a little walkthrough of Zoom and find out what's better out of Zoom, Google Hangouts, Skype and Teams, and just see which video conferencing software is right for small businesses. So I did some research and the main ones that were popping up was Zoom, Skype, GoToWebinar, Google Hangouts, and a couple of other smaller options. And then we spoke to people last week and the week before, and I think the main three really were Skype, Meet, and Zoom. I don't know, Pauline, if you've used anything else?
No, I haven't. But interestingly enough, I used to use Skype quite a few years ago to do sort of personal things. I've had real difficulty using Skype going forward, and a number of people I know don't use it anymore. So I use, I mean, I've never used Zoom. I've been using Zoom and doing some things on WhatsApp FaceTime, you know, one-to-one meetings and things. But I don't know why Skype doesn't work. But I am interested to hear about Team. I'd never heard of that till I heard about it from Stephen Fry, you know, at the Westmont Hub.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know that today they were trying to do something on it, and apparently it did, you know, it crashed or something. So, I mean, I don't know. It's really difficult to know what's best. I mean, I've used Zoom a number of times with people now because there's so many webinars going on, and also we're doing quite a lot of socialising. So I've got a drink party tonight at 7 o'clock. It's really great. You know, all these people sort of effectively come into the room. Did it last Friday. And Zoom seems to work really well. I've had no problems at all. But as I say, I haven't used anything else so far.
Okay, great. So you've got Zoom here. Zoom is basically the main one for business, and it has a lot of advanced features. Join Me is more of an expensive solution, and I think it's about 3 times the cost, and it doesn't have a lot of the same options as Zoom. Skype is obviously what we've used in the past. It's good, but you have to actually manually invite each person individually. So if you're going to do something like this, I'd have to pre-arrange it or get all of your emails, and you wouldn't have the option just to have like a quick sign-in.
But how do you find a connection when you're on Skype, Theo?
Well, no, I would have to have their email address or their phone number. So it's only really good for existing relationships. So if you know someone for a long time, you have their email address, you can add them on Skype. Then you've got WebEx, which is more of like a business solution. It's a lot more expensive. And then obviously you've got Google Hangouts, which integrates really nicely with G Suite. So if you've got G Suite set up and you're sending an invitation for a meeting, it all just it comes naturally. They don't have to download anything. It's just a very smooth, it's easy for like one-to-one.
Okay, I'd love to know more about that because I hadn't heard about it till you just said it right now.
Okay. And then the final one that's not on that list is Microsoft Teams, which is part of the Office 365 suite. So
I've got that already.
I mean, again, Microsoft Teams is like Skype in the sense that it's better if you're already connected with a person and you want to have like a ongoing communication each week. Whereas something like Google Hangouts and Zoom is more for your one-offs and inviting a larger audience. So I would never do this on Skype because it would be, there'd be a lot more admin. You wouldn't be able to get everyone in. And the same with Teams as well. But I think to start with, it's, if you're working in a business or if you're working with people that already use Skype or already have a system in place, like don't rock the boat, just go with what they know and make sure that everything can run smoothly, that everyone has the software already set up. A lot of people saying, I'll move over to Zoom, but if you already, everything's working perfectly on Skype, there wouldn't be a reason for you to change.
Sure.
And then the next thing really is, like, what do you want to get out of your video conferencing? Some people just want to do one-to-ones, like therapists might want to just have a catch up with one of their clients. Other people might be doing screen sharing, like what I'm doing now. Or when I'm doing website work, I'm doing more remote desktop control. So I could take over your laptop and show you certain things as if I was next to you on your machine.
Scary prospect, Theo.
But yeah, I mean, it's all safe. So there's always that.
I'm joking.
I know. And then you've got polling and Q&As. So if you wanted to do like a survey, so if you're doing like a webinar or a larger meeting, you can do polling and find out answers from the audience. As we're doing now, you've got video recording to turn it into a YouTube video. So for each one of these, I'll then strip it down to about a 20 to 30 minutes highlights video and then post that on YouTube. And you can do that in Skype. You can do that with Google, but it's just not quite as smooth and easy to work with. And also finally, live streaming. So you have options where you can post to Facebook Live, YouTube, or Facebook Workplace.
And I asked this question the other day. If you do a live streaming, it keeps a recording of it.
It does, yeah. I've actually tested it, and we'll test it again today on both YouTube and Facebook. I'm just seeing, so everyone's in now.
Yeah, will we have these notes afterwards?
Pardon?
We have these slides afterwards, and I don't need to write it all down.
Yeah, so basically at the end, I'm going to do the same as I did with the last one. So there'll be the video, the Spotify podcast, and then these notes all on a one-pager.
Cool.
So I can just send you the link and you'll have everything there.
Perfect, thanks.
The other important factor, not only what do you want to do in the meeting, but kind of how many people and what kind of setup you want. So whether it's, as we said, the one-to-one, a one-to-many. So if you're doing like a training workshop or something where you're talking to a larger audience, there's a feature where you can set up a password. So you could give everyone the link, and then the people who you actually want to come on, you can give them a password to join. And as like I've got here, you've got this waiting room. So you can manually go in and admit and remove people. So obviously if you're doing it, if it grows to a certain extent and we get say 30, 40 people, then I would look to give people a password and then kind of screen them before they come in. Yeah, going back to what we were saying before. So if you wanted to do say like a one-to-one video meeting or one-to-many, then you could probably do that via say Google Meet, but Zoom would generally have a better option. For group meetings where everyone's involved, Zoom definitely has a lot of pros there. And also for a webinar, we did a webinar with Chiswick Buzz on Tuesday, and Zoom was really powerful for that as well. So if you're looking for something to do, say like a training video or one-to-many, I really would recommend starting with Zoom and then seeing what else works for you. 1 sec, I'm just going to go down. So have any of you actually used Zoom in the past? Do you know some of the controls and how it works?
Yeah, I've done the one-to-one.
Okay. And how did you find it? Did you manage to understand all of the controls at the bottom?
Yeah, the only thing I found wasn't too effective was when you put your own background in. It's like a green screen effect, and you can lose half your face.
Yeah, I tried that. Sadly, it doesn't work on my computer. I'll just do that now. Because obviously I'm at home, and for a lot of people who are working from home, it's nice to be able to cover, you can see my stereo and stuff behind me.
Ooh,
and if I use virtual background, it looks like this. So it's not.
Oh,
I don't know. I think I need a green screen.
So I've done it.
Louis got a background and his is working. He's got the
my room's a mess, so I put the background up, but I don't know why mine works and yours doesn't.
Either you have a nicer computer, or you might have a green screen or a plain wall behind you.
No green screen, but it must be the computer.
So if you're going to start a meeting, so if we go from the beginning, so if you're setting up, say, a webinar for a few people, you can either schedule a meeting where you can book in advance, or you can just give them a direct link and join now. So obviously, when you open up Zoom, you've got your, it'll be join meeting and schedule meeting. So join will just start straight away, and then you can share the link with whoever you want. Schedule means you can add it in the future, and you can invite people individually via either via email or via text or WhatsApp. And then you get a range of options. So you can obviously look at the title, the date, the length of time, and then you can turn it so when people join, it will either hide their camera or hide their mic. And then this is where you can actually add in the password as well.
Can you just remind me to use Zoom for free? I understand, isn't it, that you have a 40-minute slot and then it will time out, but you can go back in. And secondly, what's the maximum number that you can have if you're using the free Zoom app?
So if you're using the free Zoom, if you're doing a one-to-one, then it's unlimited for as long as you want. So there's no caps at all. If
Okay.
you're doing one to many, like we're doing here, then
Yeah.
it's capped at 40 minutes. But as you
Yeah.
said, you can log out and log back in, and you can do it in chunks if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And then that's up to 100 people.
I've heard that Zoom actually suspended the limit for the time being. I got
Have
an
they
email to that
suspended?
effect.
Oh, I didn't know that. When I looked yesterday, it said 100
It's,
people.
well, it's just from an email I got, so it might not be true.
And I'm just going to go back into the settings and then show you how to set up the waiting room and the password.
Sorry, I was talking to somebody this morning about this because she was thinking of she works for a hotel group, and she's saying, oh, I want to do something on hotels. Obviously, they're suffering, and she says, should I put it up on LinkedIn that everybody will see it? And I suggested to her, wouldn't it be better to actually set up an Eventbrite group up that everybody, and they'll get an auto response when they've signed up saying thank you, and here's, it's almost automated still. But then you get a list of everybody, you get their emails and stuff, and then they get an email that says, here's the Zoom link. And therefore you're getting people interested, but without being public about the Zoom link.
I think, yeah, I could, it's trial and error. Like I didn't have to share that Zoom link. I could have just done it direct message or set up on Meetup or Eventbrite. Well, I think Meetup's probably a little bit unreliable as well, I guess.
Yeah, I would only do it on Eventbrite, even though I do speed up for the lunch break. That's historical. But
yeah, so I'm just going to go into the settings now. So obviously we said about when you schedule a meeting, you can choose to have the videos and mics on and off. So if you're doing a larger webinar, it's worth turning people's mics off so that you don't get a kind of disturbance when they join. You can also do telephone and computer audio. So if someone's out and about or they can't access their computer, they can just dial in and use their mobile. You've got here, obviously, join before host. So to make it more secure, I've turned that off just so people can't join and ruin the meeting before you even start. You've got the meeting ID that we've discussed. And then there's another option here, authenticated users can join meetings. So this is where if you're doing, like, say, a paid training or something a bit more serious, you can actually authorize them before you start the meeting.
That's a great one.
And then again here, require a password when scheduling new meetings. So they've got the things in place to stop hackers and to stop spammers. And then obviously you've got require a password for instant meetings, require a password for personal meeting IDs, embed password meeting. And again, so you got the option here to require a password for people joining by phone to reduce scammers. This is a really important one, mute participants upon entry. And I think in all cases, you should do that. And then you have the same with the chat and the private chats. I'm just going down quickly. Something that's really handy is to have a co-host. So I'm going to turn this on now. It just means that if you have a larger meeting, you could pass over certain duties to someone else, whether it's admitting people or managing the chat or managing the Q&A.
Yeah, I was on one today, Theo, and they had somebody managing the chat, and that worked really, really well, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, when I was doing the chat and the admin and the screen share all at once, it did become a bit cumbersome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's definitely worth having.
And this organizer just literally, when we were all on this, she just pointed, said, oh, Kate, would you mind managing the chat, which she did. And then every now and again she'd come in and say, I've got a few important messages, X, Y, and Z. So that worked extremely well. And we were all muted throughout, apart from when we wanted to speak. When we wanted to speak, we either had to put up our hand or click on the hand icon down on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked well.
Yeah, and I think it does. And also, let me just go back down here. With the chat, you can send messages to select people or to the whole group as well. So you could arrange it where all the questions go straight to that moderator.
Yeah.
Just to keep it a bit tidier. And sorry, was that a webinar version or was that a normal Zoom meeting? Do you know?
I think it was a webinar version.
So for that one, you also get the Q&As and you get a few extra features as well. Yeah,
and you could also save the chat. That was the other thing, which was quite handy because I couldn't read it whilst I was on listening, but you could save the chat afterwards, which was good.
Okay. And just quick going through the rest of these. So
just down the bottom. When you're in the chat screen, down the bottom, there's the three little dots to the right, and you click on that, it will say save chat.
Okay, no, that's really good. I'll just go into it now. Yeah, I've got it here. So you can save chat and then participants can chat with everyone. or everyone, the host, or no one, basically.
Yeah.
Also, you got the options here to put an attendee on hold. So if there was someone who maybe got angry or said something that was out of place, you can put them on hold for a bit and wait for them to come back.
That's cool.
I guess it's because when you have like a face-to-face meeting, people are more civil and they're more kind of accountable. Whereas the one issue with these video conferences is you get people like what we saw, where they're going to be saying stupid things and writing over and trying to disturb the meeting. And then a couple of other bits you might want to look at. So you got your breakout rooms. So if you had a couple of different groups, you could split them out into groups if you wanted to get slightly more complicated, or say have a few people working on one certain topic. Remote support is really important. So that's what I would use to help someone control their computer or manage something. And also, I don't know if you can see, you can move the cameras around. So at the top, you'll have either gallery view, split view, where you see all of the webcams. You should have small active speaker, which is the person who's talking at the moment. Then you've got your gallery view, and then you have your grid view for everyone.
That's view options. Is that the one at the top?
Yeah,
No.
so you should have a little black box that has all the cameras in place.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I can see 4 people. So
You hover at the top of the person who's just above the person at the top.
Oh, I
Right,
can see everyone now.
yeah, I can see 3 little. There's a line, a blue thing, and half one, and
Exactly, yeah. So you've got it goes from smallest to biggest. So the one on the left is just yourself, Steve.
yeah.
Second
Yeah.
one is going down, 4 people going down. And then the other one tries to capture, well, it's got 6 out of the 7. And have any of you tried creating a register page for this before? So you can actually have like a sign up page before you go ahead.
Oh no, I've not used that.
So that will give you, it's just like a little one pager you can send out as a link. It takes the person's name, email address, and contact details. But I mean, I guess for most people, it's going to be about creating like a short 1 hour meeting, possibly recording it and streaming it. I don't know if many of you will be doing questions and polling and other things on the call. So have any of you ever tried doing a live stream on YouTube using this?
No.
No.
So all you have to do is go onto the right-hand side of your settings when you're actually hosting it. Then you'll have an option that says live on YouTube. Once you click onto that, it pops out this window and it gets you to basically sign on and link it to your YouTube channel.
Does that mean I could have a meeting with myself and record a webcast?
Yeah, you could. So if you wanted to, say, do a tutorial, you could use Zoom to record it, share that on YouTube or Facebook, and then keep that for later use. So the video that you send to YouTube or Facebook will be stored, and then you could link back to that afterwards.
That sounds like a big quantum leap for my business.
Yeah, so you could do like a 30-minute Excel or VBA training, and then just build yourself up some videos.
And it also save the kind of stuff in the background, like you're doing now, screen sharing.
Yeah, and it saves. That's another good thing. It will save the screen sharing. It will have the photos, the webcams separate, so you can take them out of the video, and it will also have the. One second, where's it gone? The audio will be separated as well. So if you did want to take out someone's audio or replace some of the sounds, you can do that as well.
I think I've got the marketing funnel now.
Yeah, and I think it's really useful. I'm just going to go in now and set that up. I'm just going to do a 5-minute test just so you can see. So you give your meeting a title for YouTube. Select whether it's public, unlisted, or private. So Steve, in your case, if you wanted to have just a private link, you could do either of these two, just so it wouldn't be broadcasted to the whole of YouTube. It's just now setting it up. So it's syncing my Zoom account with my YouTube account, and it will give you, and it will show you what's actually being displayed on YouTube while you're working as well. So this is a quick tutorial just to see how you would link up your Zoom account with YouTube. And you can see in the middle here, it's displaying what's going on, the tabs that are open. So if you're doing a screen sharing or if you're doing a tutorial, you can actually see live how it's going to look. There you go. I'm just going to mute that now.
Will it show participants?
For that one, let me just check. So if you say, then I just close the window. But if you go back to your control panel at the bottom, copy streaming link. So if you ever lose the link to your own live stream, there is an option in the settings just to copy that link. So now I can go back and I can see what it looks like. And I believe for YouTube, it's only showing the screen share. It's not showing the webcam.
And I mean, this is more a YouTube question, but if you put that on your private YouTube area, or so it's not public, can you at some point then make it public after it's done, and is it a recording of it, or is it stay in private?
Once you launch the video on YouTube, you can then go and edit video, and you can change that to be public, private, or unlisted at any time afterwards.
Okay, cool.
So for example, you can even take it out and edit it. So once you've got that on YouTube, if you wanted to say remove a section, you could download it, cut out a section, and re-upload it.
Okay.
Actually, just while we're talking about video and video manipulation, there's a really nice and quick, easy, free tool called Shortcut. So when you're actually running the webinar or the meeting, you'll have the controls at the bottom. So you have obviously your mute, your camera, manage participants, where I've spent a lot of time today, your polls, sharing your screen, annotations, and then I don't know if you can read this box here. I'll just zoom in. But then you've got all the options for live streaming, pausing the recording. So this is how you would monitor any live streams or any other the extra features. So I'm just going to turn that off.
How good's the polls feature?
1 second, I'm just going to delete that. I mean, today's really about testing it out and getting everyone to have a feel for it. So I'm now just going to ask you a question. So if you click on the polls button, it will actually pop out the browser for Zoom. So you can see now it's got this box. Another main thing about Zoom is really trialing it. So Steve, if you are going to do some like one-to-ones or do some training videos, it's definitely worth setting some time before to test out the audio, the video, and also the features. And as we saw here, the login and the user settings. Just while we're here, is there anything else you weren't sure about in terms of the settings or how to actually use it?
I think that's what we probably need to do is I need to get some practice on some one-to-ones without doing real work.
I think
so
the remote control is important as well. So if you go down, you'll see a remote control option, and there's a picture of a little mouse.
Down the bottom.
Yeah, let me just hold on. I can, for example, I'm now sending you a little link, and now you can actually control my computer by using the mouse.
Well, I can see on the bottom, absolutely nothing now.
You should get a little notification.
Oh, you can control your computer at the top. Yellow box.
Request remote control? No, that's not it.
But it just come through to me.
Yeah, no, I just sent it straight to Steve, just because Steve will be using it for a lot of like one-to-ones and kind of training.
Yeah, I can see the yellow. I've tried that thing out anyway, so
Okay.
I know how to do that one. I don't particularly want people going to me though. When I'm training, that is, just when I'm being trained.
Okay. And also something I've just noticed is if you do go stream live to YouTube or stream live to Facebook, there's a huge delay of like, say, a couple of minutes. So if you were planning to do one and make it live, I would suggest setting that live up well in advance, just to make sure you don't miss anything.
The other thing which I probably advise is also invite people to join 10 minutes before you actually start, so any TV problems are sorted out. Yeah,
the audio. Everyone has issues with their mic and their audio and stuff. Exactly.
So, say for example, I think you need this kind of 40 minutes. It's pushing it, but probably with a pro, something like a 5-10 minute lead-in time.
I don't know if you heard of Jackbox.tv, and Samar, you might actually. This app is really, really good. So it's like a remote games you can play. So someone buys the pack, and then you each get, it's a quiz or a trivia or something like that. And then you put in your name, put in the code, and then you can all play with your phones. You can do like, there's like a fake art dealer one. There's multiple choice. There's where you can speak over films and give your own kind of narration of it.
Oh, cool.
We did it over, like me and my friends did it over Zoom because we were just bored. I think isolation's killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, if any of you are bored and want a nice kind of online game, this Jackbox is really good.
Could you actually make that a future agenda item, is how to have fun when you're stuck at home on your own? Particularly where on kind of things like this, where you've got video conferencing and have more kind of fun element to it.
Yeah. So when you click on screen share, you get loads of different options. I don't know if you've looked at it before, Steve.
Got the options, just how to go to the screen.
So you got 3 different options. You have your basic, which is just a whole screen like you can see now.
Yeah.
You can actually sync up a phone or an iPad with like separately. So you can have your iPad doing a screen share while you're working on your laptop. You've got your individual tabs. So these are the tabs that are open at the moment, the WhatsApp. Yeah. And then you've got, hold on, your advanced, which is a select portion of the screen. So if you had the answers on one bit and the question on another, you could actually just share, say, the questions. Sound only, and then content from second camera. So for you, if you were going to do like have a DSLR connected and actually do better video, you can do that as well. Let me just go through.
That sounds very advanced.
Well, no, because I'll probably use that soon. I think that'd be quite handy actually. Just delete this, and then the final option. Yeah, that one. Is if you're working with a client and then you want to share the Excel that you're working on, you can attach a file from Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, or Box.
Well, Canva's something I really want to get to grips with, so that'd be an interesting one. A tour of Canva. Also,
well, I don't know if any of you are into graphic design, but Affinity is incredible. Samar, I don't know what you're using.
I've got Adobe because I get it off work, so
okay, cool.
Stick to using that. But yeah, because I've got it from work. Otherwise, I know it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, I was paying for it for about 3 years, and then I realised I wasn't using it enough to warrant the cost. So there's a thing called Affinity, and at the moment you get the whole package for £25.
Okay.
For you, obviously, it's maybe not relevant, but maybe Steve or Cam, it's a really, really good. So you got their version of Photoshop, their version of Illustrator, and their version of InDesign.
Okay.
So I was saying, like, my biggest weakness is InDesign, but yeah, you can get each of them for, I think it's 25 at the moment.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it'll make do. It'll help some of us anyway.
Yeah. No, it's really bad that they charge so much for Adobe. It's ridiculous.
It's a lot. I realised I paid like nearly about £1,000 over 3 years.
It's too much.
But anyway, I'll leave you to go. I know you said you had to head off, and we'll just drop me an email on Monday if you have a chance.
Yep, I will do. Probably Monday or over the weekend.
Cool. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Thanks for.
have a great time. Okay, right. See you both.
Bye.
See you later.